Sugar, spice, and everything nice. I like cute games, so I'm covering them twice. Shout out to the commenter who recommended this game. You're a real one. Cookie Shop Create Your Dream Shop is a Nintendo DS game released on February 27, 2009 in the US and was a Toys R Us exclusive. If you died a little inside at that, welcome to the club. While it also had an original Japanese release and a European one, I'll be focusing on the American version in this video. Developed by TDK Core and published by South Peak Games, and yes, I kept wanting to read South Park instead, Cookie Shop is a very casual, simulator-type cooking game. I'll dive more into details as we progress, but I'll lay down the premise as our starting block. We play as Rose, a Choco dog with a cake shop in the new sweets department store. Our objective is to make the shop the most successful amongst the others and make lots and lots of money, or cacao in this case. We'll need to learn and create new recipes and make them the tastiest treats around, all while making the shop truly our own. For those only listening, the Choco dogs and cats don't necessarily look like they're made of chocolate, but they all have a sweet/food aesthetic to fit in with Sweet City, the location where all of this takes place. Are the characters made of the same ingredients used in the recipes? That, I don't know, but that's some food for thought. Without further ado, let's get into it. Anyway, we have to make Rose happy and help her achieve her goal. If we want to become the greatest shop, we have to start somewhere, and in this case, we get pancakes. Pretty exciting. Recipes are broken up into different categories for our convenience. Take the pancakes for instance. While they're the first recipe we craft, they're the first item in the pancake category as well. Each category has a starter recipe that can sell for a low price, and the item list will grow alongside the prices. Starter recipes tend to be very plain or basic and have the set price of 80 cacao. So, how do we go about collecting recipes? In the very beginning, our colleague Creamy grants us the pancake recipe. We also have the strawberry shortcake as a starter. Like with Creamy, other characters can give us new recipes, usually when the friendship level is high with them or when there's a special in-game day, like a holiday. Recipes can also be bought from the bookstore. The most common method is when we're actively in the kitchen and making said recipe. Cooking the recipe several times causes Rose to remember a brand new one. For example, making the regular pancake 5 times unlocks the chocolate pancake recipe. There are 200 recipes split across 26 categories. Needless to say, we have our work cut out for us. When creating a new recipe, a minigame must successfully be completed first. Resulting in a failure doesn't necessarily mean you lose, but you do lose half a day, and I'll discuss more of that mechanic later on. There are multiple minigames, and I mean multiple. They're pretty self-explanatory, and we'll end up repeating them for whatever recipe that's currently being worked on. We'll encounter things like measuring ingredients, slicing fruit, mixing ingredients, that sort of thing. All are easy. However, the stirring ones effed me up because I was using a mouse, and raw dogging a constant circle while staying in the same position sucked. With a stylus, it would have been a breeze, but I digress. There are some other non-cooking mini-games, and these can only be encountered on special days when a certain character is spoken to. Like on New Year's Day, we can play a mini-game where we have to pound rice for mochi. That's a lot of recipes and a lot of mini-games to keep up with. However, to make these tasty treats, we'll need ingredients. And yes, we'll be borderline broke at the beginning of the game for a while. At least, I was. In the sweets department store, each level has 2 shops, and these shops sell different items, most of them being ingredients that we'll need at some point down the line. We'll primarily be hitting up the general store at the base level. I hope you like Crunchy because you'll be seeing him a lot. It's wise to have a set amount of specific ingredients in your inventory at all times. You'll see pretty quick what ingredient is used the most, like milk or eggs or sugar. Ingredients can also be obtained from helping out others or talking to them on event days. So, now that we have some food in our arsenal, what's next? At any point during the workday, we can look at the shop menu and choose what gets sold. Obviously, we can't sell treats that haven't been made yet, so the easier, lower level stuff will be the first ones listed. At first, only 5 items can be sold. After enough progress is made, the shop becomes fully fledged and that number gets bumped up to 10. We actually never get to see the selling process, as that's what Creamy's job entails. However, most of the profits come from selling the treats, so it's incentivized to make food with a higher value. We can work a part-time job in some of the other shops, but I'd recommend doing that when the amount of cacao we have is low, like in the beginning. There's definitely a system to this in which to maximize profits and help Rose become successful. On one hand, lower list recipes, like pancakes, tend to sell more but cost less. On the other hand, higher tier items cost more but aren't purchased as much. It's a constant navigation of trying to unlock new recipes while also improving what's already unlocked. The more a recipe is made, the higher its tasty level gets. Tastier treats tend to get sold more and are more likely to win in-game contests. Every 5 times increases the level by 5. The highest level we can get to is 10, so a single recipe has to be made 50 times for it to be considered mastered. A single store on a higher floor sells furniture, and this is where the aspect of create your dream shop really comes in. More furniture is unlocked as you progress, but again, stuff is expensive early game, so you might have to wait a while. Having furniture in the store not only makes it unique to each player, but it also makes the shop more appealing to customers. Earlier, I mentioned how failing a recipe costs half a day. A workday is split into 3 time slots: morning, lunch, and night. Morning and lunch are primarily the only times when work can actually be done, as Rose will say it's too late to do anything when nighttime rolls around. Each activity takes half a day. Working part-time takes half a day, succeeding or failing at a recipe takes half a day, giving someone a gift on their birthday takes half a day. You get it. If it's a casual conversation or simply buying ingredients, that does not take up any of that valuable time. Nighttime is the only time when you can redecorate the shop or check on analytics. An in-game day only takes several minutes to complete in real time, so it's pretty easy to make some decent progress. Okay, that covers mostly what the game is about. Sure, there's the opening cutscene that sets the main objective, but that's all there is story-wise. The closest thing we get to a quest is when Creamy tells us that a character wants to talk to us, or when there's an event going on. There's a decent number of seasonal events, and each has a little special something to it. There are the regular holidays like Halloween and Christmas, which allows us to play exclusive mini-games. Other miscellaneous days, like Ice Cream Day, also have an exclusive mini-game but also grants us ingredients. While Creamy will typically say something if someone in particular wants to speak with us, it's always a good idea to speak with everyone on seasonal days just in case. Eventually, when the 1-year period is up, there's a contest day where we'll have to enter any treat of our choice. I mentioned how increasing the tasty level of a food usually brings about good things. Entering something with a high level increases the chance of winning and making Rose's shop the most popular, thus fulfilling her dream. It's primarily up to the player as to how to spend the day, whether it be trying to improve tasty levels, discovering new recipes, working a part-time job, whatever. Despite the lack of a proper plot, I'd say Cookie Shop's biggest draw is the art style and character designs. For my lovely listeners, I'll set up the scene for you. The top screen typically depicts some kind of background, and each are unique to the store or whatever floor you're on. It's also indicated here what the date is, what time it is, and what's the current location. As for the bottom screen, this is where the magic happens. Each store is a pixelated cube with a bird's-eye view. Here we can see decor, the NPCs, and Rose, who we guide around with either the stylus or control pad. A menu bar sits at the bottom of the screen and, depending on what you're doing, it has various icons for various actions. For instance, when interacting with someone, we can choose to talk, buy, or give them a present. When it's nighttime, we can check sales, redecorate, look at the menu, and view our inventory. At the end of the day, we return to Rose's home. There, we can change her outfit and look at the calendar. Navigation is rather simple for the menus. For the game itself, I absolutely adore the aesthetic and style chosen here. If you've seen my Happy Bakery video, I mentioned how quintessentially Japanese everything is. It gives the vibes of Sanrio or Tamagotchi or Chikawa. Pastels are heavily utilized with pops of color, but not in the way that would make it hurtful to the eyes. It's a bit hard to explain, but the palette screams shoujo to me. The background music consists of generic happy, cutesy songs at a higher pitch. They play on loop, and they're not much to write home about. As for the characters, their designs are stupidly cute. I want to break them down a bit for those who aren't watching. There are a total of 22 characters, including Rose. Like I mentioned earlier, each have their own unique sweet/food look to them, and you'll see what I mean. Or hear, I guess. Either way, you should totally tell me who's your favorite after I cover them. Just a disclaimer, but some NPCs are hard to tell whether they're a dog or a cat, so bear with me here. Alright, so this part is going to be ad-libbed, and I'm referring to my notes on this, so prepare yourself. Alright, so starting off, we have Almond, who is a dog, cat. I can never tell with this one, but he's a brown with dark stripes and a yellow handkerchief. Very cute. There is Banana, who is yellow with bangs, has a barrette and collar, and the barrette looks like a banana. There's Blue, a blue cat with white accent and what I could best describe as squiggly eyes. Cassis, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is a purple cat with a furry collar and a little ducky friend. Champy, who is part of our competition as another pastry shop owner, who is a cream cat with a heavy emo bang and tie. He reminded me of Tamaki for some reason. There's Cherry, a light pink fluffy cat who is Sakura based. Clement, an orange tabby cat with a hat and piercings, and he low-key looks like Tangy from Animal Crossing. There's Creamy, our colleague, who is a white dog with fluffy pink ears and a flower in the hair. There is Crunchy, a brown dog with fluffy ears and a polka dot handkerchief. There is Fudge, a small white and brown dog. He gives me more cinnamon roll vibes, despite the name being Fudge. He also has a handkerchief. Mango, who is with Banana, a small yellow cat with floof that looks like leaves. Moron, a brown dog with a flippy hairstyle and it looks like a dollop. He also has a brown scarf. Melon, a dog, cat, dog, cat. Either way, light green, looks like a melon, has a hat and a handkerchief that look like a melon, very on brand. Milky, another dog, a brown dog actually that looks like a little bun, has a very serene expression. We have Mint, a blue cat with yellow spots and a red gem for a collar. Alright, and then we have Mocha, a green dog with large brows and a yellow handkerchief. It's very matcha themed. There's also this very distinct Japanese style, and I can't quite put my name on it, but that has like the very bulky round eyebrows and the straight slick hair. I know it was very big during one of the periods. Oh, I can't think of it, but if you know what I'm talking about, feel free to sound off. Anyway, then we have Opera, a yellow cat with a very French outfit. It's honestly just missing the beret, TBH, and it kind of looks like Gojo with the glasses, but whatever, I digress. Then we have Peachy, another competitor in the other sweet shop. She is a peach-themed cat with a peach in her hair. Again, very on brand. Then we have Palm. I'm not sure if they're apple-themed, pomegranate-themed, Tonghulu, or just a red cat. I don't know, but another cute cat. Alright, then we have Raisin, a purple dog with bangs, glasses, and a yellow neck bow. Rose, our main character, is a pink dog with either roses or strawberries in the hair. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell with this one. Alright, then we finally have Violet, a purple dog, question mark. Looks more like a cub with the ears. Either way, they have a cap and a hat, and honestly, they just look like Gerard Way more than anything else. Anyway, the designs tie in with the shop theme and the names, though some are a bit of a miss, in my opinion, as you can tell. Either way, they're all super cute. Their personalities are flat, as this game isn't dedicated to character arcs and provoking storylines. They're there, they're friendly, and some have more quirks than others. The individual items obtained also have their own art and descriptions whenever you examine them in the inventory. The devs could have easily just had the stuff listed and called it a day, but they really went above and beyond on this. Personally, I love world building and tiny details like this when it comes to games, so I deemed it a pleasant surprise. Overall, I enjoyed the game. It came across very Tycoon-esque, and I could see this as a modern-day mobile game. A port would be nice. My major complaint is that it's a bit convoluted as to what to do in the beginning. It's easy to waste time trying to figure out what button does what. Thankfully, there are some walkthroughs as to what to do because, hoo boy! My other smaller complaints are that you can't check on how many times you've made a recipe to see how far it is tasty-wise or how far you are friendship-wise with the other characters. I would say the replayability of this is a solid meh. Not that it's bad, but mostly because it's linear and not very eventful. However, you'd have a better grasp of what to do and could get stuff going at a quicker rate. I can't really say much because there are a handful of games that I've replayed numerous times that are straightforward like this, so. And also like with Happy Bakery, this game gave me major Flash game vibes. The Western cover of this case really applies to that thought, especially the random girl just standing there and looking like she had a bit too much booger sugar. Just saying. So, do I recommend this game? Totally. Do I wish there were little trinkets of the characters? Yes. I might have to make some myself, honestly. Thanks for watching! If you liked this video, please leave a like. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but tell me which shop owner you liked. I'm leaning towards Crunchy and Clement myself. If there are any games you'd like to recommend, feel free to drop them in the comments. Until next time, this is Icky Mickey. Goodbye!